Ever feel like you're constantly chasing deadlines, starting projects at the last minute, or just generally putting things off? You know that feeling, the one where your stomach is in knots because you promised yourself you wouldn't wait until the last minute this time, but here you are again. Listen, you're not alone. Procrastination is a cage, and most of us have rattled the bars at some point, but here's the deal. It doesn't have to control your life. We're going to figure out why we procrastinate, and more importantly, I'm going to give you practical, actionable strategies to break free from this habit. Let's do this. Okay, let's get real for a second. We all know that feeling. Procrastination isn't just about being lazy. It's a complex issue that affects many of us. It's way more complicated than that. It's a psychological battle that we often lose. It's like this invisible cycle that keeps spinning, and we get stuck on the ride. Think about it, you want to get off but you can't. There's that task you need to do, maybe it's a work project or finally organizing your closet. It seems simple but it's not, it looms over you, and you feel that resistance building, the stress starts to creep in. So what do? You avoid it. You turn away, hoping it will go away on its own. You scroll through social media, binge watch a show, anything to escape that feeling. Distraction becomes your best friend. And you know what? For a hot second, it feels good. Relief. You think you've outsmarted the task. But that relief, it's temporary. Time keeps ticking, and the task is still there. Because then comes the guilt. The realization that you've wasted time. And guess what? This guilt eventually forces you back to the task. But usually, it's at the last minute when the pressure is on and you're scrambling to catch up. It's a vicious cycle. So, why do we procrastinate? It's a question that has puzzled many of us at some point in our lives. If it's such a nasty cycle, why do we get on board? Why do we let ourselves get trapped in this endless loop of delay and frustration? Well, it's different for everyone, but there are some common culprits. These reasons often overlap and intertwine, making it even harder to break free. Sometimes it's plain and simple fear of failure. The thought of not succeeding can be paralyzing. We're terrified of not measuring up, of not being good enough. This fear can be so overwhelming that it stops us in our tracks. So, we avoid the task altogether, thinking, well, if I never try, I can't fail, right? It's a flawed logic that many of us fall into. Wrong. Avoiding something because you're afraid is like letting fear be the boss of your life. It's a self-imposed limitation. And then there's feeling overwhelmed. The sheer volume of tasks can make us feel like we're drowning. We look at a big project and freeze, like a deer in headlights. The enormity of the task can be paralyzing. We don't even know where to begin, so we do nothing. Sound familiar? It's a common scenario for many. Oh, and let's not forget about perfectionism. The quest for perfection can be a major roadblock. We get so caught up in the details, in making everything perfect, that we never actually finish anything. It's a vicious cycle, and sometimes it's the simplest reason of all. We just lack motivation or interest in the task itself. When we're not engaged, it's hard to get started. Alright, enough with the why. Let's talk about how to kick procrastination to the curb. First up, break it down. I'm talking about those big, overwhelming tasks that make you want to crawl under your desk. Don't let them intimidate you. Instead of thinking, I have to write a whole report, break it down into smaller, more manageable chunks. Think, today, I'm going to write the introduction. Then tomorrow you can focus on gathering data, and so on. Because let's be honest, starting is often the hardest part. Chapter 4. Time boxing, your secret weapon against distractions. Next up, we're going to talk about time boxing. This is a game changer, people. It's about taking control of your time instead of letting it control you. Here's how it works. You allocate a specific time slot for a particular task and you stick to it no matter what. No checking emails, no scrolling through social media, no getting sidetracked by your cat videos, as tempting as they may be. The beauty of time boxing is that it creates a sense of urgency. Knowing you only have a set amount of time to get something done can work wonders for your focus. So, if you give yourself all day to do something, guess what? It's going to take you all day. Chapter 5. The Pomodoro Technique. Work smarter, not harder. Now, if you're looking for a more structured approach to time management, let me introduce you to your new best friend, the Pomodoro Technique. This technique is all about working in focused bursts with regular breaks, and it's incredibly effective. Here's how it works. You set a timer for 25 minutes and work on a task without distractions. Once the timer goes off, you take a short break, maybe 5 minutes, to stretch, grab a drink, or just clear your head. Then you repeat. This method is like magic for your productivity. Chapter 6. Distraction Detox. Creating your focus zone. Let's talk distractions, those sneaky productivity killers that are everywhere. Listen, we live in a world of constant stimulation, and it's easy to get pulled in a million different directions. But if you want to beat procrastination, you need to create a distraction-free zone. Think of it like this. Your focus is a muscle, and distractions are like weights. The more distractions you lift, or try to ignore, the weaker your focus becomes. So, what can you do? First, put your phone on silent. Then close all those unnecessary tabs on your computer, and finally, find a quiet workspace where you can concentrate. Chapter 7. Setting Smart Goals, Your Roadmap to Success. In this chapter, we will explore how setting the right kind of goals can pave your way to success and help you overcome procrastination. Finally, let's talk about goals. Goals are the stepping stones that guide you on your journey. You can't expect to overcome procrastination if you don't know what you're working towards, right? It's like trying to navigate without a map. But here's the thing, not all goals are created equal. Some goals can actually lead to more confusion and procrastination. To really light a fire under your procrastination, you need to set SMART goals. These goals are designed to be clear and attainable. And no, I don't mean goals that are good at math. SMART is an acronym that stands for something much more practical. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Each element ensures your goals are well-defined and reachable. Instead of setting a vague goal like learn a new language, a SMART goal would be learn 10 basic phrases in Spanish by the end of next month. This makes your goal clear and time-bound. Having well-defined goals gives you a clear direction and makes it easier to track your progress, which in turn boosts motivation. You can see your achievements and stay focused. And when you're motivated, guess what? Procrastination doesn't stand a chance. You'll find yourself moving forward with confidence and purpose. You got this. Time to take control. Look, overcoming procrastination isn't a one-and-done deal. It's a journey, not a destination. It takes time, effort, and consistency. You're rewiring years of habits, so be kind to yourself. Don't get discouraged if you slip up occasionally. It's going to happen. We're all human. Just pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep practicing these strategies. You got this.